Hello, beautiful people. I hope all is well. I am tired, so today's live Q&A is coming from the bed, club bed, okay? So if you are new to my page, my name is Alison. I am a certified dating and relationship coach. I primarily work with singles to help them find the love and commitment that they deserve. I took off the last 2 Wednesdays because I was doing a free training for coaches, consultants, and service providers. And so I wasn't doing the free training and then doing the free live and then my sessions and then work and all that. So I had to take some time off, but I am back. And as a woman of my word, even though I'm super tired because I've been running around like a chicken without my head cut off, or is it a chicken with your head cut off? Whatever it is, I am a woman of my word. I said I was going to show up, so I am here. All right. So welcome, Bree. Thank you for joining. Yes, I'm here. I'm back. I said 7 o'clock. I need to change my text messages. I know the text message said 6 o'clock, but 7 o'clock, we are here. We in the building. Hello, Tony. Thank you for joining. Hi, Tay. Hi, Beatrice. Blissfully B. Thank you for joining. Glam Doll. Vision. Fisher. Melody, did I get that right? Moni, Still Fred, Get Fit with Tiff, Coach Tiffany. Excuse me, lots of Tiffany's in the building. Naturally D, Ashley, Kiki, thank you everyone for joining. If you know that there is anyone who can benefit from an honest conversation around dating and relationships, please go ahead and share this live with anyone who you think could benefit. I'm only going to take very few questions. I actually only received a few questions. So if you have any questions right now, I'm actually going to take them in the question queue. So the question queue is right at the bottom right here. There's a circle with a question. I will take questions in the question queue today, which is rare. And if you would like to join the live, if you want to join the live and you want to ask your question live, I would be more than happy to do so as well. We have about 45 minutes together. Thank you, Coach Tiffany, for purchasing a badge. I appreciate it. All right. So let's get into the questions that were submitted via my stories. How this works is every Wednesday I do this live Q&A. It's for folks to ask me questions for free so that I can answer whatever their questions are in regards to dating and relationships. If you have a question that needs more depth, then I would recommend that you click the link in my bio and you book an alignment call. It can be 30 minutes or 60 minutes, your choice, depending on how long you think we'll need. Also, depending on what your budget is and your restrictions. But for the free, you can join us here. You can ask your questions via my stories. I go through every single question I receive via stories, and I try to get through the questions that are offered here on the live. So, hey, Joe, how are you? Joe Johnson Speaks. Thank you. Welcome. You can go ahead and drop your questions there in the question queue or join the live and I can answer your question if I trust you. If your name is not questionable, if you look like, I don't know where you're from. But welcome to the land of love. If there's anyone who is new to this live, please go ahead and let us know who you are and where you are from so that we can welcome you appropriately. Please let us know who you are and where you are from so that we can welcome you appropriately. All right. So I got one question that's hard, another question that's easy. Some questions are coming in the queue. So I think I'm going to start with the hard one. Let me just get the hard one out the way. Okay. Hard because it's a little sensitive. The question reads, do fit women have a better chance at finding love? Do fit women have a better chance at finding love? Okay. So, as I said, I find this question to be a little bit hard because I don't want to be in a position to offend anyone, right? But a part of the reason why you guys follow me and a part of the reason why you guys listen is because you know that I am honest. So, how I would answer this question, welcome Jenny from South Carolina. Welcome Sierra from the Bahamas. All right. So, the way that I would answer this question is, it is easier for women to date and therefore find love if they match the standard of beauty for their culture. So women who are in alignment with whatever the standard of beauty is for their culture or for the men that they're dating, right? Because sometimes we date outside of our culture. If you are a match for that culture and whatever that standard of beauty is, then dating is going to be easier for you. So therefore, in theory, if dating is easier for you because you match whatever that standard of beauty is, then one can assume that finding love would be faster. It's not automatic. There's some people who never go on a date. They meet someone in passing, they meet someone in church, they meet someone on the job, and then they fall in love and it's all honky-dory. Most people have to go through some dating situations, some relationships in order to find a fulfilling relationship. But in reality, the more attractive you are deemed for your culture or the culture of person you're trying to date means the more dates you will probably land. Probably, it's not perfect, because if you're a jerk, right, or you're a bitch, it doesn't matter how pretty you are according to their culture and their standard, people won't like you. But relatively speaking, the more attractive you are for that particular culture, the easier it would be for you to land dates. And then the assumption could be, then the easier it would be for you to get involved in a romantic relationship. So I can say, as a black woman, right, just make it easy, Caribbean, American, whatever you want to say. As a black woman, generally speaking, in our culture, we prefer curves, right? Generally speaking, the men in our culture prefer women with curves. So if you have a larger bosom, a smaller waist, bigger hips, bigger butt, that's usually the general standard of sexiness in terms of black culture, right? Again, this is not 100%. There's some guys that like skinny girls, some guys like girls with big breasts, little whatever, generally speaking. So if I'm dating a black man and the closer I look to that, with that being the general standard of looks, then more likely than not, I'm probably going to land more dates in that regard, right? Which is why girls get surgery. It's true, because a lot of people want to match whatever the cultural standard is. I would like to think that the cultural standard is beginning to shift in America across the country because of hip hop, because of the Kardashians, whatever it wants to be, that if you are curvy, then that is appreciated. But it will vary. So again, this is a hard question because there's no hard and fast answer. This isn't going to be something I could chop up and put in a reel in 59 seconds, right? Relatively speaking, if you fit whatever the cultural standard is for that man, then you are going to be deemed as more attractive, which means you should land more dates, which then means you potentially should find love faster. This is not a reason for you to go and start starving yourself if you feel like you're not the cultural standard, or for you to start stuffing your face in order to do so. But that's the best way I can answer the question, and I hope that I've answered it as thoroughly as possible. Okay? Next question. So this person's new, and it's okay. It's A-okay, right? Because y'all are already going to know what my answer is going to be. The question is, should I stay on dating apps or delete apps and focus on meeting someone in person? Hey, Chris from Canada, welcome, welcome, welcome. Should I stay on dating apps or delete apps and focus on meeting someone in person? So I'm going to put it like this, okay? I am a very busy person. So I downloaded Instacart so that I could do my shopping online and it could be delivered to me, right? Uber Eats. If I don't make the time to make something to eat, I'm going to get on an app and I'm going to have the food delivered to me. Amazon. This app connecting with y'all, there's no way that I could connect with thousands of people at one time. Absolutely not, right? So, folks, you should absolutely be using dating apps to date, just like we use every other app in order to make our lives easier, especially in the midst of COVID, especially in the midst of winter. You don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket and hope and pray that you meet someone organically in a space. Vision says, if you're busy meeting people in one remote location, it isn't feasible, especially with social distancing. Excuse me. Absolutely. Folks, you have to play every card that is given to you. And thank God in 2022, we are in a position where we have way more options, where you don't only have to date your college sweetheart or only date the person that's around the bend. You are in a position to meet people across your city and potentially across the country if you're into that kind of stuff, that can be a good match for you. You absolutely need to be on dating apps as well as go out socially. You should be doing both. You should be managing both. Now, if you need help on how to navigate dating in 2022, then you're going to go ahead and click the link in my bio. You can check out the free training first. If you want to bet me, feel free to do so, especially because you are clearly new, because y'all know how I feel about dating apps. And then if you think that what I have to offer is worthy, you can go ahead and purchase Dating 101, which is $37. Or you could jump out the window and spend $37, and I'm telling you what I have to offer is valuable, right? But you should absolutely be on dating apps as well as going out socially so you can increase your chances of meeting the person who's an appropriate match for you. For sure, and for sure. Okay? Is it better to pay for apps or start with the free ones? You get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. So I highly recommend that you purchase a 3-month subscription for dating apps. Many times that unlocks options for you to narrow down your search. You can put the distance in which the person can be matched to you. You absolutely need to pay for it. It's 3 months, you will be okay. And especially for anyone who's, I'm not paying for a dating app because I'm not paying to meet a man. Yeah, but when you buy a new dress to go out and you bought a new pair of shoes to go out, and even though you get your hair done anyway, but you got your hair done that day, and maybe you spent a little bit more than you normally would for your normal daily hairstyle, you spent money to go meet a man then too. You paid for admission. You bought your first drink. So this idea of I'm not paying for dating apps, I'm not saying it's you, I'm just saying in general, which I've heard. I'm not paying for dating apps because I'm not paying to meet a man. We all pay in some form or fashion, and men pay too. They pay for dates, right? So we're all paying. Suck it up. You will be all right. Pay for 3 months. Don't do the 6 months. You may be able to find someone quickly. 1 month is impractical. Do the 3 months. You get what you pay for. You get more access. And that's what we need. I want as much information as humanly possible so I can assess whether or not someone's an appropriate match. This thing is so less complicated than it's so much easier than we like to think. And it's so much more calculated than we like to think. This is not a Disney fairy tale where someone's going to fall into your lap. The likelihood of that is slim to none. The likelihood of you walking down the street, he's walking past you, he mistakenly knocks down your coffee, and so he goes and buys another coffee, you talk for hours. Strategy. You have to know exactly what you're looking for in a mate. You figure out what questions can help you answer and figure out what you want in a mate. You ask those questions to assess whether or not that person is an appropriate match. If they are unable to answer those questions appropriately, then, and when I say appropriately, I mean appropriately for you. Because just because someone doesn't want what you want, or they don't have the character or traits or behaviors that you want, doesn't mean something's wrong with them. Because guess what? That means something's wrong with all of us. There are things about me that some man, which I don't care, but some man might say, oh, Alison talks too much. She's too opinionated. I don't like the fact that she has a significant platform. I don't like the fact that she flattens her hair. I don't like the fact that of her complexion. I don't like her physique. Like, there are going to be things about us that are undesirable to others. It doesn't mean that what we are and how we present is problematic. It just means it's an inappropriate match for them. There's a lot of conversation about people being worthy. Who's worthy? We need to get this kind of language out of here, right? It's not about who's worthy. It's about who's an appropriate match to who I am and where I am right now in my life. We're all intrinsically worthy. We're all intrinsically worthy. The question isn't worth. The question is this person an appropriate match for me based on what I'm looking for and where I am in my life right now? Does that make sense, beautiful people? I hope so. Okay. Commercial break. I want to thank those who just purchased a badge. I guess I was spitting. Thank you, Alex, Danaea, Vision, Wellington Event Rentals, Coach Tiffany, and Japa Black for purchasing a badge. Okay? Okay. Questions. So, one of the questions is it a deal breaker if a man doesn't tell you he's actually 8 years older than the age posted on his online dating site? We've been together for a year and a month. I found out by asking him for his driver's license and seeing his actual year of birth on there. Okay, so I will tell you this. That is absolutely a red flag because he didn't correct it early. Not because of the initial lie. And I'll tell you why. Again, we just talked about dating apps. And you have to be very particular about the information that you share. And dating apps, just like Instagram apps, it's an algorithm, right? And so there are people who will put misinformation because they don't want the algorithm to work against him, so to speak, or against them. So they'll put that they are a certain age in the quick bio information because they don't want the algorithm to only kick out folks who are closer to them in age. And that's their preference and that's their choice and that's all good, right? However, what many times people will do is that in the body, like in the bio, they will say, 40-year-old, they might have put 35 and they'll say 40-year-old man looking for blah, 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 blah. I have no problem with that. Or I don't have a problem with someone putting a certain age in a dating app and in our first or second conversation correcting it and saying, I know that you saw on the dating app that I listed I was 35. Actually, I'm 42. The reason why I put that is because, but since we're getting to know each other, I want to let you know my real age. People put their fake names, they put nicknames, they put middle names. If the correction is done early, I don't have a problem with that. However, you've been dating this dude for a year and a month, and now he's coming to tell you what his true age is. That is the red flag, because if you're going to lie to me for a year and a month about something so minuscule, especially when it's the man who's older, because generally men tend to date younger women anyways. This is not outrageous, right? If you're going to lie to me for a year and a month about something so minuscule about you being a few years older than me, yep, and he didn't tell, she found it out. You're absolutely right. Then absolutely, if you will lie about this, you will lie about anything. So that's why it would be a dub for me. Because that's outrageous. It should have been corrected early in the game. Early in the game. Okay? Next question. If a man has 2 children and you don't have any children, should you pursue him? I want a family, but he doesn't know when he wants to have more kids. I don't want to pressure him for a timeline, but I also don't want to waste my time. Just looking for insight. That's an excellent question. So to me, this is a 2-part question. I would answer part 1 by saying, if a man has 2 children and you don't have any, should you pursue him? I would not decide on whether or not to pursue someone, based on the 2 children, right? Like that has to be an individual's choice. If you can withstand or you can deal with 1 child, if you can deal with 2 children, if you can deal with X amount of children, depending on the relationship that he has with the mother or mothers, maybe mothers is a deal breaker. You have to decide what number of children is too much for you, what number of mothers is too much for you, what circumstances cause the separation between him and the mother or mothers, whether the mother or mothers are alive. I know that's not nice to say, but that is a factor. Whether or not they're remarried or married, whether or not that they were married. Like those are things you have to decide on your own. I don't think that there's any cut and dry number. 1 is enough, 2 is too much. 2 is enough, 3 is too much. 1 mother's okay, 2 is too much. If they were married, if they weren't married. Is she remarried? Are you remarried? Like, there's no cut and dry answer for that. But there's a cut and dry answer for part 2. Part 2 says that you want children and he's unsure when he's ready to have children again or if he will be. That is the deal breaker. That is clear as day. There's no argument here. There's no room for conversation. If you know that you want to have children and you are dating someone who says that they are unsure of if they want to have more children or when it will be, like they have no idea of a timeline, then that's the end of the conversation. Especially if this is the woman who wants to have children and the man who's unsure and is unsure of a particular timeline simply because of biology. Simply because of biology. A man is in a position to have children up until the day that he dies. Now, how good that sperm is a different conversation, right? But he's in a position to do so. A woman is not. So I would never recommend for anyone, especially a woman, to ever wait and hope and see whether or not someone wants children. If they have shared with you that they do not want children or they're unsure, you a grown person, you unsure, you know what it is. You know whether or not you want to have them. If it's not an emphatic yes, then the answer is no. If it's not an emphatic yes, then the answer is no. This is the example that I give every single week when I start a group with my clients, right? Because you guys know I'm Alison. I'm a certified dating and relationship coach. I primarily work with singles to help them find a love and commitment that they deserve through coaching programs and one-off sessions, right? This is the example I give every single time. When we were kids and we got an invitation for a party, we would give that invitation to mommy, daddy, whoever, right? Whoever was the softer one or whoever was around. Give the invitation. Mommy, I want to go to the party. Daddy, I want to go to the party. If it was a we'll see, the answer was no. If the answer was no, the answer was no. It could even be that the answer was yes, but you didn't wash the dishes, you didn't make the bed, you didn't do well in your report card, and now they're going to rescind, right? If the answer is not an emphatic yes, I want to have children, this is my desire, I feel like I was put on this earth to be an amazing parent, I want to grow these children up in this society, and I want to make, like, if it's not that passionate, assume the answer is no. It is in your best interest to assume that the answer is no, because I'm not taking chances, especially as a woman. Just because of biology and my own biological limitations, I cannot hope and pray that this man will change his mind. I cannot hope and pray that he gives me a timeline that fits into what God has, or Adam or Eve or whoever the hell did it, limit us to. Like, I just cannot take that chance. So because I cannot take that chance, guess what, sir? You are unsure whether or not you want to have children. You are unsure of when you want to have children. As a result, this is not an appropriate match. And just like I said 7 minutes ago, it's not about someone being bad or good, a bum or not a bum, trash or not trash, high value or low value. They just don't want what you don't. They just don't want what you want. And that's okay. Find out early. Yes. First date, Tay. Tay said, should these questions be asked on a first date? Yes. Why not? I'm not asking whether or not we will have children together. I'm not asking whether or not you want to marry me. I'm asking whether or not you desire children. Do you desire children? That ain't got nothing to do with Alison. That has to do with Mark or Andrew in my case, right? Or Terry or whoever. That's the question. The question is not, do you want to marry Alison? The question is, do you see marriage for yourself? Do you desire marriage? Do you think that marriage, do you believe that marriage is an institution that's worthy? Like, those are the questions. Absolutely. And guess what? If possible, I'm asking those questions before I get dressed. Because you know I bought a new dress. And you know I might mess around and buy some new shoes. And you know I'm going to look good. So I don't want to invest all that. I'm asking these questions early in the game. And if there's anyone who is scared off as a result of you asking very basic questions about what their goals are, what their desires are, then guess what? They are an inappropriate match for you. They're an inappropriate match for you. If they are afraid because you ask them what their opinions are about an age-old institution called marriage, if they are afraid because you are in your 30s and they're in their 30s, you're in your 40s and they're in their 40s, they haven't had children yet, and you've asked, do you desire children? They're afraid, then please run. Please run and run far away from me. I ain't asked you to lay with me. I ain't say marry me. I said, do you believe in the institution? And if someone is afraid, then please keep going and find someone else who isn't afraid. Okay? Okay. Next question. Advice on your significant other going through your phone. How do I know if he's guilt tripping me? I need more context. First of all, if someone's going through your phone, that means that they don't trust you. You have trust issues. Either you did it to yourself because you've given them a reason not to trust you, or they had those trust issues before that they need to work out with the therapist. It's not your responsibility to heal anybody. Unless you are a therapist, a coach, or anything in the mental health space, a mental health whoever, and you're getting paid to do so, it is not your responsibility to heal anybody. Now, if you did it, If you're the cause of this mistrust, then you need to start building that trust back. And again, you might want to reach out to a mental health professional to help you do so with your partner. I know a lot. You can DM me, right? But if you didn't do it and this person just lacks trust in general and they found nothing, they need some work. And I think you should definitely consider recommending that work before you continue to build your relationship. So I hope that I understood your question. Okay. Should a man with kids only try to date women with kids? No. A man with kids should date someone who's interested in him and in the fact that he has children. You don't only have to limit yourself to people who have children. I would imagine that maybe it's easier because people with children may be more understanding to the complications of parenthood, but you don't only have to seek out those women. Now, always be upfront. As per my last reel, right? We want to be honest about how many children we have, but you don't have to limit yourself to only women or only men who have kids, even though I understand the desire because they may be more understanding than someone without them. But you don't have to. It's not an obligation. Okay? Where can we meet eligible marriage-ready men? I'm in my early 20s and I'm Christian, but there aren't many eligible guys at my church. You can click the link in my bio and you could join my coaching program because that level of tea and that level of gems you're going to have to pay for. Okay? I think I have one left. Okay. Newly single mother of 3, 14, 10, and 1. Where do I begin to meet a significant other? A friend, in quotation marks, made me feel as though I was a lost cause. Kids are for one father. I earn a 6-figure salary, pretty, 37. I split up with father as relationship was toxic for a number of reasons. Newly single for 10 months. Okay, there's a lot here. There's a lot here. So let's unpack it, okay? Now, the fact that you have 3 children doesn't mean that you're a lost cause, but I would be a liar if I said that dating is going to be easy for you. I'd be a liar if I said that dating is going to be easier for you or easy for you. 1, simply finding the time to go out on said dates, right? 2, finding a man who would be comfortable enough to have to consider stepping in to play a fatherly role, even if their dads are super active. And I mean no disrespect, and I'm not a parent. You're not a parent. If you are not in the house, you're not doing the work. If you are not physically in a home with the child for the long term, you are not doing the work. So you could be as active of a dad as you want, but if they're not sleeping underneath the same roof as you for days on end, you ain't that active. The person who is in the house, who's making the meals, who's making them brush their teeth, who's yelling at them to do their homework, who makes sure that the game is put away at night, that is the parent, which may include this potential dad who steps in. So dating will not be easy. That ain't no lie, right? I can't lie about that. Is it impossible? No, it's not. Okay? There are going to be men who want to be father figures, as well as in alignment with all the other characteristics and behaviors that you're looking for. There are going to be men who haven't had children, who would love to step in because they want it. Maybe they have older children that they weren't involved with as much and they would love to be a part of that. Like, it's not impossible, but yes, it's going to be more difficult. Kashmir Dam says she should date a man with children who doesn't want any more, if she doesn't want any more. Potentially, right? Or it could be a man who wants children, who hasn't had any, and wants to step into that role. It's going to be more complicated. I cannot lie to you. The more children you have, the more complicated it is, right? So yes, it's going to be more difficult. Where can you begin to meet a significant other? Before we do that, I have to tell you that the fact that you have a 1-year-old, and again, I'm not a parent, but gives me the impression that life is really hectic with a 1-year-old. I don't know, and you work. So I don't know if you have the time to date effectively and thoroughly, to vet appropriately when you have 3 children, one of them being a 1-year-old. So you may be in a situation where and again, I don't know your circumstances, right? So this might be a position where you want to book a call. You may want to wait just to make sure that your life is even stable and consistent, Because again, I could only imagine, even if you didn't have the 14 or 10-year-old, the 1-year-old enough is going to have you running around and in a tailspin. So how do you have the time or the energy with a 1-year-old plus 2 other children that you have to care for? So you may want to give this some time just to get your life stable, so you're in a position to date successfully, thoroughly, and vet appropriately, and not just date one person. You like him, he likes you, he don't mind the kids, everything's all good, and now you jump into it without vetting appropriately. So you may want to wait. And then the last piece, I really don't like, and I say this lovingly, the fact that you included your salary in this. I don't like it. And this is a lot of the complaints that we see online from the manosphere. And the manosphere, they're negative Nancy's. However, there's some validity to some of the things that they have to say. We cannot, ladies, we cannot lead with our accolades. The men that I presume that you want to date do not care. They do not care. Because if we say that we want a man who's emotionally and financially stable and then your six-figure salary is great. It's obviously going to add value to the household and allow you to do more things and have flexibility. But these men also complain about the fact that we're leading with these characteristics that they don't value. And there are men in the comments who are agreeing. This is the problem, okay? This is the problem. I'm trying to explain this the best way that I can. Women are looking, and these are all generalities, don't beat me up, please. Women are looking for particular characteristics, behaviors, and traits in men, right? One of the most popular ones we hear, the top two are to protect and provide. Provide meaning being financially sound. So maybe they're not paying all the bills, but they have the ability to do so in case of emergency, right? We want to be able to rely on them if we need to. And even better, like if we could really, like if I could just stay home with the baby, please, right? Everyone's case is different. These are generalities. But we always hear the protect and provide. So those are the behaviors and traits that we're looking for many times in a man. Now, men are not necessarily looking for those things in us. They're looking for different behaviors and traits. And I'm not even going to begin to get into it because I'm not a man. So I'm going to leave that for the men to discuss, right? But I know for a fact that in the duality of a heterosexual relationship, men have something different to offer than women, right? Like yin and yang. Men are not looking for the same things in us that we are looking for in them. And that makes sense in a heterosexual relationship, right? Right. So the problem is that because women are looking for these traits and behaviors in men, and then they seem to not be able to find them as quickly as they would like, they then get confused and start thinking, well, let me become what I'm looking for. Except for thinking, let me be a complement for what I'm looking for. So they want a man who can protect and provide, so I'm going to become this man who can protect and provide. But guess what? That's not very sexy for the opposite sex. Opposite being the operative word. So not that you shouldn't have your pursuits. Not that you shouldn't be making a whole shit ton of money and having fun and being able to provide and buy the luxuries and all that kind of good stuff, right? I'm not saying that at all. Like, I make a pretty penny and I'm super happy and I'm going to keep pushing to do so. But it's when you lead with that, it's not sexy. Think about it like from a logical perspective. You are a woman. He is a man, right? And in the simplest of terms, don't put 2022 in it. We're opposites of each other, right? If you want a masculine man or you want a manly man or you want a heterosexual man, he is not going to want someone who behaves like him or who can deliver what he can deliver. He's going to want someone who is a complement to what he can deliver. And again, this is not saying, oh, making money is masculine and being a business owner is masculine. And so don't pursue those things, ladies, because men won't want you. I'm not saying that. I'm saying don't lead with it. If I have a list of behaviors or traits or personality or characteristics and I'm trying to sell myself, right? And trying to explain to you, this is why I'm valuable, which I do not believe about this stupid, what do you bring to the table? If anybody ever asks me that, I'm going to turn around and walk away. Okay? It's up to you to decide whether or not I'm an appropriate match for you, if I'm a good compliment. I'm not here selling you. This is not a job interview. Okay? Okay. But nonetheless, damn, I got distracted by the table thing. I hate that phrase. Oh, that question. But, shit. This is why I shouldn't go on rampages. My point is that men are going to look for how you can compliment, right? Like and women should be looking for how you can compliment. It is not we're not in competition with each other. We're supposed to be in alignment with each other. Okay? I hope that makes sense. And like I said, I'm not here to argue about how to define masculinity or femininity. I don't have all the answers. I do not have all the answers in that regard. But I can tell you one thing, it is super unattractive for women to lead with their accomplishments. Okay? Okay. All right, somebody said, come on back. All right, beautiful people, I'm hungry, and I believe I answered all the questions. Okay, I'm going to take one more because I'm hungry and I got to go. And so I'm going to take it from someone who did not ask a question yet. She says, I'm on my healing journey and in the process of building a business. Should I wait until I'm done with both to start to? No. Man, you ain't got to wait for nothing. You can manage it. You can manage it all. Okay? You can build the business. You can continue on your journey if that means therapy. You can do it all. If you feel like you can't set aside 30 minutes a day to have a conversation with a gentleman, 3 hours on the weekend to go on a date with a gentleman because you're so inundated with the work of starting your business, then okay, fine. But I believe that you have the ability to do it all. And you don't have to wait until you're perfectly healed. You're never going to be perfectly healed. Never, ever, ever, ever. Right? You don't have to wait until you get to this perfect point and your therapist tells you you're now ready. Right? When you feel like dating this is not like that complicated. You meet some people, you have some conversations, you decide that you like each other enough, there's enough chemistry and enough things in common, and they seem to be meeting your most basic non-negotiables. You go on a date. You have a meal, you have a drink, you go see a show. You keep talking, you see where it goes, right? If this person is not an appropriate match and you dead that ASAP Rocky, like we're not wasting any time, you can absolutely manage it all. Okay, so on that note, I'm hungry, I'm leaving, I love y'all. It has been fun. I missed y'all. If you have any questions in regards to the services I provide, I want you to click the link in my bio. And you can check out the free stuff. You can check out booking a one-off session. They're called alignment calls, Align with Alison, 30 minutes or an hour. If you know that you need something way more extensive than 30 minutes, you need something that's 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 6 months, click the link in my bio. After vetting me, because I don't want you to get on the call and saying, who are you and what do you do? Please do not waste my time. I love y'all. Do not waste my time. And then you can book a free call to talk about the coaching program. It is not a free call for coaching. I do not coach for free. This is not coaching for free. You're welcome. Click the link in my bio. Book whatever call is appropriate for what you need. All right? Love you guys. Bye.